Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So all together please. Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshuron Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidamscha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita as it is. Translation and commentary, Srila Prabhupada. So, today's verse, chapter 17, the divisions of faith, verse number 3. Please repeat. Sattvānurūpā sarvasya śraddhā bhavati bhārata śraddhā-mayo yam puruṣo yo yac-chraddhaḥ sa evasaha. So word for word, please repeat. Sattva-anurūpā, according to the existence, sarvasya, of everyone, śraddhā, faith, bhavati, becomes, bhārata, O son of Bharata, śraddhā, faith, mayaḥ, full of, ayam, this, puruṣaḥ, living entity, yaḥ, who, yat, having which, śraddhā, faith, saha, thus, eva, certainly, saha, he. So, translation Srila Prabhupada. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular type of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Please repeat, O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Purport Srila Prabhupada. Everyone has a particular type of faith, regardless of what he is. But his faith is considered good, passionate, or ignorant according to the nature he has acquired. Thus, according to his particular type of faith, one associates with certain persons, Now the real fact is that every living being, as it is stated in the 15th chapter, is originally a fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, one is originally transcendental to all the modes of material nature. But when one forgets his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and comes into contact with the material nature in conditional life, he generates his own position by association with the different varieties of material nature. The resultant artificial faith and existence are only material. Although one may be conducted by some impression or some conception of life, originally he is nirguna or transcendental. Therefore, one has to become cleansed of the material contamination that he has acquired in order to regain his relationship with the Supreme Lord. That is the only path back without fear, Krishna consciousness. If one is situated in Krishna consciousness, then that path is guaranteed for his elevation to the perfectional stage. If one does not take to this path of self-realization, then he is surely to be conducted by the influence of the modes of nature. The word śraddhā or faith is very significant in this verse. Śraddhā or faith originally comes out of the mode of goodness. One's faith may be in a demigod or some created god or some mental concoction. One's strong faith is supposed to be productive of works of material goodness. But in material conditional life, no works are completely purified. They are mixed. They are not in pure goodness. Pure goodness is transcendental. In purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As long as one's faith is not completely in purified goodness, the faith is subject to contamination by any of the modes of material nature. The contaminated modes of nature expand to the heart. Therefore, according to the position of the heart in contact with the particular mode of nature, one's faith is established. It should be understood that if one's heart is in the mode of goodness, his faith is also in the mode of goodness. If his heart is in the mode of passion, then his faith will also, is also in the mode of passion. And if his heart is in the mode of darkness, illusion, his faith is also contaminated. Thus we find different kinds of faith in this world, and there are different types of religions due to the different types of faith. The real principle of religious faith is situated in the mode of pure goodness. But because the heart is tainted, we find different kinds of religious principles. Thus, according to the different types of faith, there are different kinds of worship. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam laite grim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam sattva-anurūpā sarvasya śraddhā bhavati Bharata śraddhā-mayo yam puruṣo yo yac-chraddhaḥ sa eva sahar. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular type of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Yes. So real religion is love of God. Real religion is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is prem bhakti. So divine love, that is the real religion. But if one is turned away, bahimukh, from the Supreme Lord, then he enters the material energy. So the material energy at root form is the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Mode of goodness means harmony. Mode of passion is activity. Mode of ignorance is inertia. Mode of goodness is clarity of consciousness. Mood of happiness, balanced mentality. Mode of passion is activity, mental and physical, desire and a longing desire for material things. Lord Chaitanya has given those: dhanam, janam, sundarim, money, societal position, respectable follower, famous, a big man, and then a sex life. So these three things, mode of passion, people long for them. I want money, I want big position, I want sex life. Mode of ignorance, tamagun, that is illusion, madness, inertia, laziness, inability, but anger, frustration, greed. So devata or devotee, we can say in the mode of goodness. The asura means not very pleasure, not very much pleasure. They enjoy in the mode of passion. They want wine, women and song. They are generally asura. But then in the mode of ignorance, rakshasa. Their enjoyment is not so much to enjoy the good things of material nature as it is viewed by the man in passion, but rather his mode is to control, to dominate, to sadistically dominate. His enjoyment, the Rakshasa like Ravana, Duryodhana, Kali, they want to dominate and cause suffering, and that is their pleasure in the exaggerated extent. So, yes, Brahminical position or mode of goodness, balanced position, one can understand there is a Supreme Lord, and one can understand the philosophy of the Vedas, and one can become enthused to practice, and then one can come to the transcendental position by sadhana, practice. And after sadhana, then one can get bhava, and one can get prem. One will realize Krishna, and as we realize Krishna, we realize our relationship with Krishna. So that is real religion. But people who don't take to the Vedic path, who don't take to the sadhana of the Vedas, who in this particular age, Kali, Lord Chaitanya has appeared, and he's appeared to give the path. What is that verse? Yagyai sankirtana praye, Krishna vana tvisha Krishna sango pangasya parshade, Yagye sankirtana praye yayanti he sumedasa. That in this age of Kali, there is an avatar. He's in the category of Krishna. He's Krishna himself, but he's not Krishna, meaning he's not in Shyam Sundar. He's golden. And he is teaching the Sankirtan Yagya, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, deity worship, book distribution, all these are kirtan. Kirtan means to describe. So the devotees, the temple is a place where we describe Krishna. We describe what he likes to eat, how he dresses, the murti form, how he looks, his words, his name. We kirtan, we produce together, sankirtan. So yayanti he sumedasa. So those who are intelligent in Kali Yuga, sumedasa, they will do the Kali Sankirtan Yagya. But this mode of goodness is a good taking off point then for transcendence. And that is bhakti. But those that don't take to bhakti, but don't take to spiritual life, who just remain bahirmukh. Oh, don't talk about God, don't talk about the Supreme Lord, don't talk about surrender, I want to enjoy. They want to enter the material energy, and in the 5th canto it is explained there that the soul that is turned away from Krishna, Tasta Shakti, he enters the material world just like a tradesman enters the forest. He enters the forest of material nature. So the tradesman goes into the forest and he tries to gather things, wood, fruits, flowers, so he can make some profit, fruitive desire. He tries to enjoy in the material world by karma, by working and getting some fruit. But he becomes lokayam kama bandhan, he becomes bound by his reaction. But the point is, because he's in a human body, you can read that in the 5th canto, it's very interesting. It talks about the elephant and the crocodile and the tiger, all the things, dangerous things in the forest of the material world. Because the material world is a dangerous place. Huh? There's adidevic, adibhotic, adhyatmic miseries. Right? So they're all expanded. Read that section in the 5th canto, it's very interesting. But because he's a human being, because he has a human body, now everybody, every category of life, we understand from the Vedas, there's 8,400,000 species or categories of human or form. There's 400,000 human form. But anyway, because he's in the human form, particularly on this earth planet here, he naturally has some spiritual inclination. Or rather, he has some inclination to inquire. What is this world? Huh? What is the truth of existence? How has it all come to be? Huh? What should I do? Who should I take shelter of? Who should I admire? Who should I follow? These are the feelings. Just like at the beginning of Vedanta Sutra, it says, Atato Brahma Jignas. Atato means now. So, Acharyas have given, Atato means now, inquire into the absolute truth, Brahman, that which is supreme, that which is Brahman, that which is supreme. So that is natural for the human being. What is the explanation? If you're an animal or a tiger or whatever, of course a tiger is an animal, or a fruit or a flower, you're not going to inquire what is the supreme. You're just going to be under the modes and live in a very controlled manner through the material energy. But the human being will inquire. Atato means, different interpretations acharyas have put, but it means now that you become a human being. Brahma Jignas, inquire. So, but now you're a human being. How are you a human being? Actually, it means that now you are following the Vedic Shastra, Varnashram. Now that you're, because, as it says in Bhagavatam, what? Vipad Bhuta, right? Pashu. If you're not following the Vedic descriptions, the Vedic instructions on how to live life, then you're considered a two-legged animal, right? Just like a bear. It'll stand up on two legs sometime, or maybe a Sasquatch, or a Bigfoot that is, or a monkey can even learn to walk on two. But if you're not following any Vedic prescription according to your particular personality and so on, then you're considered in a fallen condition. If there's no real inquiry, So also now means that now. It means now you're a human, inquire. But it also means, we can understand, now means now. That means that every moment the human being should be considering what is the absolute truth. Just like Krishna says, Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru. He doesn't say, think of me tomorrow, or think of me like you did yesterday. You think now, man. Because actually, what is life? Life is a series of now. We're always now. So the developed soul, Krishna conscious soul, is always considering Krishna. But that means he's following varnashram, whether you have this inclination or this spiritual level, you should follow the discipline, you know that. Later on we'll talk about varnashram. But if you don't, and that is all fully described, but if you don't follow that, then you're living in an undisciplined life. And as Prabhupada touches upon here, that unavoidably you'll come in contact with the material energy. If you're in the mode of goodness, you'll be open-hearted, you'll be a good person. If you're a sura, like we explained, you'll be trying to satisfy desire, mode of ignorance, intoxication, madness, psychosis, illusion, and a kind of interaction of the whole lot. And the root of this is, as Krishna says in the previous chapter, if you remember, we ended on it last week. In the previous chapter, very important verse, 16:23. Krishna set that up. Yac-chraddhaḥ ustrischa. Yes. Yashastrim vinim ustrischa vartate karma karata. Nasasidam avapnoti nasukam na param gatim. He who discards scriptural injunctions, and this means the Vedic prescriptions. We're not talking here about some tribal religion that has begun with some prophet and some so-called scripture is made with traditions and speculations and tribal ideologies, and we're the greatest tribe and this is what's going to happen. We're not talking about tribal religion here. We're talking about the Vedas. They are, what does Krishna say? 15:15. Vedanta krit vedavid evachaham. So I have written down the Vedas in my incarnation as Vedavyas. The Vedas are eternal, but in Kali Yuga they've been accumulated by Vedavyas, and so they are the prescriptions for mankind. The Shruti, along with the Smriti. Smriti means that which is remembered, Shruti that means which is heard. So the Shastras are there, but if you discard them and you live a life of convenient speculation, then this is what Krishna says, you will attain neither perfection. What is perfection? Siddhi. Siddha means Swarup Siddhi. It means to realize your relationship with the Supreme Lord. You will not realize the Supreme Lord if you give up. Vedanta krit vedavid. I am the knower of it. Vedanta. I am the goal of the Vedas, Krishna explains. The Vedas are an exposition of sadhya and sadhana. Sadhya means the goal and how to attain the goal. So that is the purpose of the Veda, to know janma kama teme divyam evam yovati tatvata, to understand the Supreme Lord and His Leela, His behavior, and the process. That is the purpose. So if you do that, you can get siddhim. But if you don't, there's also another verse in the Gita, ashraddhā dhana puruṣa dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante Mrityu samsaravatmani. Yes, very good. Those that are not faithful to the Vedas, this path, cannot attain me, but return to birth and death in the material world. If you attain Krishna, janma kama tamedivam evam yovati tatvata takva deham punarjanma naitimam meti sarjana, then you will attain transcendence. You will attain Krishna Prem. You will attain eternal life. That's the purpose of the Vedas. But if you're not faithful to that, then no siddhim. That is siddhim. Siddhim, perfection, means that to develop directly and personally your relationship with the Supreme Lord. In Dasya Bhav, Sakya Bhav, Vatsalya Bhav, Madhurya Bhav, whatever that is inbuilt to the soul. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, Sadhakabanai, Shravanadi Sudachitte Karidevade. It's inbuilt to the soul. So that is siddhim. So, but then if you also, Krishna says, if you give up the Shastra, then no happiness. Happiness means material energy. He's talking about no happiness in the material world or no happiness in the spiritual world. So that happiness is the feeling one is in balanced mentality. One is feeling fulfilled, even the material energy. Because one becomes situated in knowledge and one becomes Atmaram, satisfied within. But the Shastra then directs humanity to come to this point of purity, and then from this purity, this is Vaidhi, to develop Rag, attraction to the Supreme Lord. And after Rag, then you'll get Rati, attachment, Ashakti, Bhava. Then you'll realize directly your relationship with the Supreme Lord, and then you'll get Prem. It's inbuilt to the soul. The process is Shravanadi, Nava Vida Bhakti. So Varnashram is there to regulate human society, how to manage human society, and within that form to cultivate Rag, Shru Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sak. You're all devotees, right? You all know this. So that is the purpose of, then you see, what does Krishna say earlier in the Gita? Arjuna, I'm explaining this Susukam kartam avyatam, that it is sukham, it is joyfully performed. To be a devotee, to avoid through regulative principles, illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, meat eating. This is a happy life. The devotee enjoys sukham because he gives up these things that are going to be stimulated in him if he goes into the mode of passion and ignorance. Therefore, Prabhupada said he should be very fearful of nature. Because you might think, oh, now I'll enjoy, but then you'll be bound by reaction. Just like somebody goes to the wine shop. Oh, I've got nice wine, I'll enjoy. Never mind tomorrow. And then tomorrow he's, oh. So material nature, I'll never drink again, right? You try to enjoy and immediately you're kind of suffering. Mode of passion and mode of ignorance will follow. So no happiness in the material energy. So we should follow the regulated life, or else we are treading the tightrope. And then mrityu samsaravatmani. We return to birth and death, right? At the time of death, we'll review our life under the demigods, we'll see what we've done wrong. And if we don't have bhava, we cannot progress further to the Bhoma Leela of Krishna. No happiness, nor the supreme destination. That's what I'm saying. Generally the soul, upon liberation, if he attains bhava bhakti, he doesn't even, in this life, human life, he doesn't even have to attain prem bhakti. If he just attains a good level of bhava, a good realization of Krishna, then he will take birth where Krishna's pastimes are manifest within the material energy. We know 5,000 of years ago, Krishna manifested his pastimes here. There are practically unlimited material universes, and Krishna's pastimes are manifesting consecutively in those. So if you attain bhava bhakti, then you will take birth in that universe, in the association of the ragatmika devotees, the perfected devotees. And there your bhava will come to perfection. You will attain Swarup Siddhi. And then you'll be fit to leave the material world. It's explained in the Bhagavatam that when you leave the material world, you take bath in the Viraja river, which is the Pradhan, within which Mahavishnu is enjoying pastime, lying on the bed of Anantasesh with Ramadevi, expansion of Lakshmi. And you'll take bath there. And there your subtle body will be washed off. And then that is Vastu Siddhi. Vastu Siddhi means that all material contamination, both gross and subtle, is gone. And the soul is situated in its fully manifest Swarup, his own form, which is the expression of his prem. So that is the supreme destination. That is there. So if we don't follow nicely, if we're sloppy in our devotional, ashrat mrityu samsara varmini. And so Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the Harinam Chintamani, 13th chapter, the earlier chapter, he explains how to overcome the offenses to the holy name. So in the last chapter he says, you can spend many lifetimes as a neophyte devotee, going from one family to the next, doing a little Krishna consciousness, chanting a little bit, watching television. Next life, doing a little chanting, but then becoming interested in mountain climbing, and then another lifetime, chanting a little bit, doing this, or maybe having a bit of a drink and going to the temple part-time, and trying to be a successful business. You can spend many lifetimes like that. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if you become tapasvi, if you control your mind and senses, and you take to study Shravanam, and you start to kirtan in a regulated way, then in one lifetime you can attain supreme destination. You can enter the Leela of Krishna. You can awaken your prem. So this is all according to our desire. Desire. The living entity is a desiring entity. The Mayavadi or Buddhist idea, you got to stop desire, because by desire we're bound in this world. Yes, you're right. But you cannot stop desire, because the soul is a desiring entity. But the problem is you're desiring in the wrong direction. So you should, instead of desiring Dhanam Janam Sundarim in this material world, you should desire to enter the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, to join the Kirtan party of Lord Chaitanya. And that, within that Kirtan party, then you will develop Swarup Siddhi. But you must desire it. Krishna is Upadrishta Anumanta. He's overseer permitter. He's fulfilling our desires. Eko yoda dadati. But we are the controller of our desire. And this is particularly relevant for the human being. The animal is just going to run after the zebra if it's a lion. So the buffalo is just going to chew on the grass, right? The dog is just going to sniff around in the road. But the human being, he can look, this is the right path. But if you give up the Shastra, Krishna says, which advises the proper way to use your desire, then you become bound. And that's what today's verse is about. So anyway, we'll just read these verses so you get the context. So number 24. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Duty, right? Remember, at the beginning, Arjuna didn't want to do his duty to fight for his brother, his righteous brother. But you must know what your duty is. Just like Parikshit Maharaj, he was cursed to die. He could have nullified the curse, but he didn't want to. He didn't want to reject the curse of the Brahmin boy. But so he asked at Namaśaranya, he asked the assembly, what is my duty? I'm going to die in 7 days. He didn't think, oh, in 7 days, now I'll enjoy. No, he thought, what's my duty? He's a Kshatriya. He was doing his duty, ruling and taking care of the praja, the people. But now, what's my duty now? So this is the human being. What's my duty? So if we take Diksha from the spiritual master, our duty is to follow the instructions. Oh, and if you remember earlier in this chapter, Divine and Demoniac Nature, when Krishna starts to explain the demoniac nature, he says, pravittim cha nivrittim cha. That's his first thing. The demon, those that rejected the Shastra, those that rejected God consciousness, they don't know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Right? Like we were talking a couple of classes ago, there's over 2,000 nuclear bombs have been exploded on the earth. This is complete madness. Right? And now the whole world has gone crazy over this so-called virus. But we know, according, if you investigate, not the mainstream media, that it's man-made. It was made, first of all, by the Americans, and then it was farmed out to Wuhan laboratory, and then it escaped, or it was released there. And what is it? It was the flu virus that was juiced up. They added some parts of the HIV virus and this virus to it. And they say, oh, we want to be ready for the next infection or flu virus, so we're making an investigation. But this is ridiculous. What is the purpose? What is the purpose? They don't know what is to be done or what is not to be done. This is like I say, they live a life, the demon lives a life of convenient speculation. And their goal is to enjoy the material energy. So that is their ultimate thing. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that one may be gradually elevated. Right? What we were just explaining. So then we start next chapter. You see, if you look at the last verses of a chapter in the Gita, you'll see Krishna's summary and see how it progresses on to the next chapter. So verse number 1, Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of religion but worship according to their own imagination? Like I say, convenient speculation. Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Krishna said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, we're embodied within this body, and each body has a certain mixture of the modes. One's faith can be of 3 kinds, in goodness, passion, or ignorance. Now hear about this. And then today's verse. According to one's existence under the various modes, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living entity is to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. So yes, if you're in the mode of ignorance, right, what is that? That means Satanism, Luciferianism, right? Animal and human sacrifice. Just like we see in the Bhagavatam, those people, they captured Bharata. What did they want to do? They wanted to sacrifice him. So information is there. This is still going on in human life. Human sacrifice, animal sacrifice, in complicated or less, like in Africa or voodoo, right? They worship some ghost spirits, What is that verse 925? Yanti deva vrata devan pritrin yanti pritri vrata yanti bhuteja yanti mam yachinopi mam. Some people worship the demigods. That's mode of goodness type worship. They take birth amongst the demigods. Mode of passion, they worship forefathers. Or mode of passion, they worship a cricket star, right? Oh, he got a century in the football game, or no, cricket game. It'd be hard to score 100 goals in a game, I think. But anyway, so they worship a person, or they worship a musician. Oh, he's such a good musician, he's God. So this is mode of passion. Huh? Oh, what kind of pants does he wear? Or they worship a woman, you know. Oh, she's the most beautiful goddess in the world. No, she's a bag of bones. Urine stool, beauty's only skin deep. She's aging rather badly. The blossoming of beauty is but a brief bloom. But people worship. Oh, the mode of passion, she's so beautiful. If she was mine, oh, I've got a picture next to my bed. So they worship some human mode of passion. The ignorant people, they do all sorts of terrible things. Huh? They get drunk, they worship ghosts and spirits. 925. They take birth, like in voodoo. I was in Africa. There, you know, you can go to ghost gurus. They worship ghosts. They get them under control. In voodoo, what do? They offer the ghost alcohol, chicken blood, and then they say, "Dear ghost, come into my body and you can drink the alcohol." But then the ghost becomes attached to the ghost guru or the ghost controller, and then they can send that ghost to oppose your business rival or something or other, right? This is mode of ignorance. So mode of passion, like I say, they'll, Pritri Loka, or in the Kali Yuga form, they worship man as God, right? And then mode of goodness, then they will have some impersonal conception perhaps of God. We're all God. I am God. You are God. Oh, I've got a toothache. I'm God with a toothache. You are me and I am you. But my bank account is mine and your bank account is yours. No. You just said you are me and I am you, so I'll have your bank account. It's better than mine. Huh? Oh, it's all one. Salt and sugar the same. Okay, put salt in your tea instead of your sugar, and see how your chai shop goes. No, there's variety. It's not all one. But the Brahman conception will give us that idea. Oh, I'll become Brahman realized and then I'll become God. All sorts of odd ideas. Because not following the Shastra. And how do you know the proper Mahajayena Gatasva Pantha? You have to follow the path worked out by the Mahajan, by the Acharyas. Each Sampradaya, Ramanuja, Vishnu Swami, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka, they're all giving the right understandings, the basic understanding of Vedanta. So if you follow that, and they're all personalist, that there is a supreme source, Atato Brahmajignas. What is the next verse in Vedanta Sutra? Janmadiyashyata. That which is Brahm, which is supreme, is the source of everything. That is the first definition of the Supreme Lord, that He is the source of everything. Just like Krishna says, 10th chapter, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matak sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam bhūta bhava samanvita. I am the source of everything. All material and spiritual worlds emanate from me. He doesn't say half of them. He says everything, material and spiritual, I am the source of everything. Iti matva bhajanti, those that understand this, they worship me. Vasudeva savamiti. This is the beginning platform of knowledge. Huh? So they're the properly situated entities. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajitam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yena mamupiyantite. So those that worship me with love, manmana bhava mad bhakto, in a loving attitude, they love not pop stars or ghosts or devas. What does Krishna say about that? That is for Hrita Gyan. Yes, you can worship the railway minister, you can worship the defense minister of a country, but why not worship the prime minister? So this is Krishna consciousness. We don't say, yes, there are empowered administrators of the material affairs, just like in a country, say India. There are so many big ministers in charge of different departments. But the Supreme Lord, the Prime Minister, he is the Prime, right? So not everyone's the Prime Minister. There's only one Prime Minister. If everyone's the Prime Minister, there's no Prime Minister. So if everyone thinks they're God, there's no God. So the Supreme Lord is one, Eko Ishwara Parama Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So worshipping demigods in the mode of ignorance is like, even if you have a problem, say you want a problem, the best person is to go to the top, right? If you have a problem in the temple, the best thing is to go and see Panchagoda. He's the president. You don't go and ask the security guard. You go to the top man. So in Krishna consciousness, we go to the top man by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And we rely on his mercy. Right? He has appointed all the lesser ministers. So all this thing is described in the Vedas, but if you don't accept the Vedic Shastra, then you'll just speculate. Or as Prabhupada, it's a very nice purport actually, but it's a little complicated, the detail. Every sentence we have to study. But basically what Prabhupada saying is, if your objective is not transcendental, you will come into the material energy. And then according to your tendency, the drunkards will mix with the drunkards in the mode of ignorance. The mode of the pop singer worshippers will go there. The demigod worshippers will go there. But then you will just retain mrityu samsara, you'll maintain your material existence. And you may not get a human body, because that's what Krishna says. If you worship the ghosts and spirits, you'll take birth amongst them. You'll go to the lower planets. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Tala, Tala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. And then you may go to Narak. In Narak, is for very sinful people. And there you experience the distress that you have given to other living entities. That is Narak. And there's a great sense of despair. I'm stuck here and I can't escape. That is the main thing. But even there's a sense of material enjoyment. It's explained in the Shastra, the people in Narak, in hellish condition, anxiety, they think, I'm not suffering as much as that person. I feel good about that. Yes, so even in Narak there's a second. But you're not inquiring, but actually Narak is meant to provoke some kind of repentant attitude and some attitude of, oh God, what have I been doing? And then Krishna will pull you out, give you a review of your life, what you did wrong, some discipline. But why learn the hard way, right? Why learn the hard way? If we listen to a bona fide guru, and that's how we understand the Shastra. Shastra, Mahajan Acharya, and bona fide present Guru. If we follow that, and we try, like Krishna said, you remember, he said we should act in that way so we can be gradually elevated. Huh? Just like if you're learning guitar or sitar, you gradually improve. Say you're learning harmonium or you're learning to chant, you gradually improve your chanting. But if you do it under good tutelage, you're on the right path. So Shastra, Acharya, Mahajan, and then bona fide Guru, within the association of devotees, then you won't be attracted. The people that, drunkards and worshipping ghosts and animal and human sacrifice and mode of passion and demigod worship, you won't be attracted because you got, what is that verse? Param drisva nivartate. Rasoam, rasovajam, rasopyasya, param drisva nivartate. And as far as falling into human life, there's another verse, trahato mahato bhayat. That just a little advancement in Krishna consciousness means at least you'll be a human being in the next life. And you'll progress from there. So yes, but Lord, like I said in the class, if we become determined, and we decide this life, I'm going to control my senses, I'm going to study the Shastra, I'm not going to watch the plasma TV, I'm going to read the Shastra before I take rest, instead of the latest chewing of the political events. If we have this determination, then that is the ticket that buys the destination. Tapasya, like Lord Brahma, he awoke to consciousness on the lotus flower, and he was wondering, what is my source? Like I say, that is the first understanding. Supreme is the source. Just like in India, like people talk to me, the first thing they say is, where are you coming from? It's a natural thing, isn't it? If you meet somebody, where are you from? Oh, are you from Australia? You from Hong Kong? No, I'm from there. I came from there to here. But actually, we have a natural inclination to inquire, what is your source? It is coming in a material way. Where were you born? Where you come from? I've been in India some years now, so if I had 10 rupees for every person that asked me, where you coming from? I'd probably be a crorepati by now. But the answer is, where are we coming from? We're coming from the Supreme Lord. And we should return to the source, not in a materially embodied incarnation, but in our swarup. So if we study the Shastra, we say in association of devotees, and we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's where we'll go. Right? Okay, we'll finish on that point. Any comments, points, questions, refutations, angry comments even? Yes, Karbhajan always asks the question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. You are mentioning about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came in a golden avatar. So, how he came in golden avatar? Can you explain something?
Lord Chaitanya? Well, he's Chana avatar. Krishna is Triyuga. In Kali Yuga, he comes as Lord Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. Krishna is chore, right? He's Makhan chore. He steals the love of his devotees. He steals butter. So Krishna is the greatest to everything. So when Krishna steals, what does he do? He doesn't steal 10 cents from your pocket. He steals the bhava of Radharani. the bhava of Radharani is the greatest thing in creation. So he dresses himself in the bhava of Lord Radharani for three internal purposes. One is, what is it about me that Radharani finds so attractive? You know, sometimes there is that idea to see ourselves as other people see us. You understand? So Krishna, what is it that Radharani finds so attractive about me? And then the other internal reason for adopting the role of Radharani is that Krishna sees she is enjoying such great bliss. I wonder what that bliss is like. I am Atmarama and I am expending my bliss through Leela. What is that bliss that Radharani feels? So by taking her position, he will experience her blissful mood. And then everyone is serving me. Of course, Krishna is the greatest servant. He's serving everyone. He has expanded everyone. He is serving everyone. But people are serving me. What is it like to serve me? That's the other third point. What is it like? What is the mood of service towards me? What is the feeling in the heart? So Krishna comes as Lord Chaitanya to understand himself. What is attractive to Radharani? What is the bliss? And what is that mood of service that the devotees feel to me? So Radharani is the bhakti, she's the greatest servant, so he wants to expend. And then the external reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance is to satisfy Advaitacharya. Advaitacharya looked at this Kali Yuga, so everyone is becoming fallen. They're not reading the Shastra or understanding it. We need an incarnation. So on the bank of the Ganga, Advaitacharya offered tulsi leaves and Ganga jal. And he called out, oh Lord, please appear. So he's doing that. He's satisfying Advaitacharya, who is Lord Shiva, Mahavishnu combined in the Panchatattva. And the fifth reason, external reason, is to spread the Sankirtan movement. So they're the reasons for Lord Chaitanya's birth. And if you want to study, even you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you read Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das, Shri Krishna, Krishna Leela Vedavyas, Chaitanya Leela Vrindavan Das. So Vedavyas appears as Vrindavan Das in Chaitanya Leela, and he gives the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And then Loshan Das Thakur, he has given Chaitanya Mangal. Originally the Chaitanya Bhagavat was called Chaitanya Mangal. Originally Lochan Das Thakur's book was called Chaitanya Bhagavat. But then, in deference to Vedavyas, Vrindavan Das, he changed his book, which gives the exposition of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, to Chaitanya Mangal. So there's all the literature, then the 6 Goswamis, they expanded the Shikshastaka, right? Chaitadapanam, those 8 verses of Lord Chaitanya. The Goswamis, 6 Goswamis, have expanded all those verses in their books. Hari Bhakti Vilas, Rupa Goswami, he's done the Leela Shastra. Hari Bhakti Vilas is combination of Sanatan and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And then there's innumerable literatures, Leela Shastra. So that should be our absorption. First of all, we must rid ourselves of ignorance by regulated sadhana bhakti and understanding the material world. But then we should progress to Rasa Shastra, to understanding the spiritual world. There's two things we should learn. It's in the Ishupanishad, Sambhutim Vinasam Cha. We should understand the material world, how it works, this material body, the modes of nature, the devas, everything. And then that will liberate us. And Nastaprayeshu, Bhadreshu, Nityam. If we study the Bhagavatam, we become freed. And then we can progress by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, His Kripa. Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar. Mosamo Patita Prabhu Na Paive. By Lord Chaitanya has appeared to save the fallen people of Kali Yuga. So by His grace, then we can understand Radha Krishna Leela. But first we have to become purified of contamination. Then we can understand the transcendental affairs. Then we can understand Govinda Leela Amrita. Then we can understand the writings of Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Krishna Bhavana Amrita. So all this should be done under the direction of a good Shiksha Guru who knows the Shastra. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just like if you're learning a musical instrument, first of all you have to learn the scales. Then you have to learn this simple melody, then this melody. And the teacher will see, now you're ready to learn this one, this one, this one. But there's no big mystery. There's no big mystery. That's why the acharyas have written the purports to give us guidance. And if you want the whole thing in very nice step-by-step function, read Jaiva Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Everyone should read Jaiva Dharma. That book is available here, translated by Sarva Bhavana. Beautiful book, 700, 800 rupees. The whole of Vaishnavism, step by step. So that is the structure. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says like that. If you can't find Uttamadhikari, read the Shastra, the purport, the bhasya of the pure devotees. Do you see the point? So Shravanam Kirtanam, we must hear. Like we say, oh, Kirtan is so important, but how do you know what to chant unless you've heard it first? Right? So Shravanam, and we must hear the acharyas, Mahajyena Katha Swapantha. And then we must follow the path chalked out. And that is the enjoyment of life.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained that.
One switch on.
Switch on. Hare Krishna.
Yes, sir.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained that Sanatana Goswami has given the Vaidhi Bhakti, the relationship between Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. How can you explain this? Is in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jaiva Dharma, he divides bhakti sadhana into two. He says there's sadhana bhakti and there's bhava bhakti. Sadhana bhakti can be divided into two. Vaidhi bhakti and rag sadhana bhakti. And bhava bhakti can be divided into two. Bhava bhakti and prem bhakti. So, Vaidhi bhakti, rag bhakti, bhava bhakti, prem bhakti. So, sadhana bhakti means first Vaidhi. To become pure, you must follow regulative principles. You must become regulated in your chanting. You must become regulated in your shastra. You must go to Mangalarti. You mustn't sleep during Mangala. You must follow Ekadashi. You must take bath in the Jamuna. You must asat sangi chagi, give up material association, right? And within that Vaidhi bhakti, just following rules and regulations is not enough. You must cultivate rag. Rag means attraction. Huh? That means you must read Srimad Bhagavatam, the rag, the Leela of Krishna, 10th canto. It's all the exposition of Krishna's Leela. Then you'll feel rag. But that rag will take a certain mood. Huh? Dasya bhav, sakya bhav, vatsalya bhav, madhurya bhav. Then you must do your rag sadhana in that particular mood. You must chant, cultivating that mood. You must study if you're developing sakya bhav, just like Brihad Bhagavatamrita, you must chant in that mood, in a mood of vipralamba seva bhav. Oh, I'm feeling this awakening attraction. You see, the general attraction is aham bija pita. Krishna is the seed-giving father. So we love our father, do we not? He brought us up. He's our father. So Krishna is the seed-giving father of all living entities. So that's a general attraction. But if you do rag sadhana bhakti, then that means to chant and do your bhakti in an awakening mood. You understand? If you're doing good Vaidhi sadhana and you're studying Leela Shastra, Srimad Bhagavatam, then you will become attracted to a certain mood. So then you should pursue your bhakti process, cultivating that mood internally. Huh? Then that will give you more realization of Krishna. Because rag means attraction, but attraction will be in a certain mood. Like the cowherd boys have the sakya bhav, the parental bhav, Mother Yashoda, they have the vatsalya bhav. Huh? So you should cultivate that under the direction of the rag atmika, the leaders of those moods. So you should study the Shastra of those particular persons. You should study, you should try to understand. Oh, you can read in the Bhagavatam about the mood of Mother Yashoda, how the cowherd boys. Huh? So that is rag sadhana. That will bring you to more understanding of Krishna. And as you realize Krishna, you will realize your relationship with Krishna concurrently. Wait a minute. And then, as Krishna is realized, prem will arise. You understand? So this is the progress. This is given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This
explain that raga, yoga, muda, ruchi. It's very nice.
That's another way, yeah. Ato śraddhā, tato sadhusanga.
Muda means mul.
Means root.
The root of raga is ruchi. My question was not on this. My question was, where does Sanatana Goswami, where does he explain this relationship between Vaidhi and raga?
Where? Throughout the Shastra is there. It's not on one page. The whole thing is a discussion of the progress of bhakti. Sanatana Goswami particularly was given the job of establishing Vaidhi, Hari Bhakti Vilas. Rupa Goswami was given the particular job, of course all is there, of Abhideya. He's Abhideya Acharya. And then Raghunath Das Goswami, Prayojan Acharya. So Prayojan, like Vilap Kusmanjali, Vipralamba Seva Bhav. So you can read all of those books and you'll pick up instruction on every page. It's not that there's a sharp division. You know, this is Vaidhi and that's Rag. and this is bhav, and this is prem. This is śraddhā, this is sadhu sangha, this is bhajana kriya. They go gradually. Under guidance, you should inwardly contemplate. You can appeal to Lord Chaitanya, please guide me. Right? Krishna is within the heart. But the first part is siddhanta, to understand Dashmulan, the 10 primary points of the Veda. You understand? But it's not that in Sanatana Goswami's works there's nothing about Rag Bhakti. You understand? Or in Rupa Goswami's there's nothing about Vaidhi. But they've emphasized certain points. Like Rupa Goswami, Ujjvala Nilamani. Rupa Goswami has given Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So that is dealing with Vaidhi and also Rag. And then there is Vishwanath Chakravarti, Krishna Bhavanamrita, Krishna Das Kaviraj, Govinda Leelamrita. So one should understand which Shastras are emphasizing the different stages. Then there is, I've got it here. This is one very important book. You can read Anangamanjari Samputika, very high level. Then there is one book, very important book, Sri Gora Govinda Archana Smaranam Padati, Sri Padhan Chandra Goswami. So in this book, it gives the dress of all the manjaris, the gopis, their service. It gives a description of the Astakala Leela. So this is Rag Sadhana Bhakti, to understand the spiritual world. You understand? First we become liberated, this material world, modes of material nature, I'm not this body. But then we must understand the spiritual world like I understood. But you can't jump into this until you're purified. You should be established in regulative principles. You should be well established in the art of chanting Hare Krishna. We shouldn't chant like a parrot. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. No, we should chant with the heart. Then the soul, the Swarup, wakes up. You understand? This is Prayojan Tattva. So we must know Prayojan. We must know. So the Bhagavatam is like that. It starts with Queen Kunti, right? Queen Kunti's prayers. She says, "Oh, you're very bewildering, Krishna. You appear in the Yadava dynasty. It's very hard to understand you, Krishna." Right? But then, in the 11th canto, there's the Uddhava Gita, which is also called the Paramahansa Gita. How to be a Paramahansa. In the Gita, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you must do your duty. But at the end he says, Savadama Prijajya, just become surrendered. So that the Uddhava Gita, 11th chapter, 11th canto, chapter 25 in the Bhagavatam. The Uddhava Gita, how to be a Paramahansa. Krishna tells Uddhava, you should pay obeisances to everyone. The hog, dog, the camel, the ass, everybody, the rickshawwala. That doesn't mean say you lie down in the street, but you should respect, you should see, everyone is the temple of Krishna. But he tells Arjuna, you must fight. But he says, armed with Nala. So if you want to become Paramahansa, so first we have to do our duty and become purified. Then we can progress to a more internal bhajan of Krishna. You understand? And the Uddhava Gita is there to teach us. Huh? What does Lord Chaitanya say? Amadina madinena. Huh? This is very high. I don't want respect, but I'm ready to give respect to the dog, the hog. Huh? That's the measure of greatness. Humility. Yes. Real humility is the measure of greatness. Just like Krishna Das Kaviraj. He's writing Chaitanya Charita. I don't know how I'm writing this. The real acharyas, Rupa and Raghunath, Krishna Das Kaviraj, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, if anyone says my name, they'll lose their piety. This is his bhava. So this is real humility. Because the more we realize Krishna, more we realize his opulence, his generosity, his lovingness. And we feel in awe of his wonder. So in that mood of awe, we cannot become proud. We become proud, opposite of humility, when we're ignorant of Krishna's wonderful nature.
There is this nice symptoms of bhava.
Symptoms of bhava mean you're always anxious to serve Krishna.
There is 9 symptoms are there.
Just
One is sunyata, lazy.
Huh?
One become humble only when he gets this.
Well, humility comes along. First, philosophically, we become humble. We realize. But it's not artificial. It is a realization. Don't say artificial. Nothing about bhakti is artificial. Bhakti is the real path. We understand, I've been in this material world like a fool. Just like at the time of death, conditioned soul, he's shown his life, what he has done. We've all done terrible things. We've all hurt people. We've all lied. We've all done bad things. So we should repent. We should think, oh my God, what a record I have. That should make us a little humble. But Krishna doesn't. But there's one thing Krishna doesn't like, and that is if you make trouble for other living entities. You understand? Krishna is very forgiving about a person being fallen. But if you make trouble to other people, just like if you have 10 children, you love them all. But if one of the children is always pinching the other child or poking them in the eye or stealing their breakfast, you don't like that child. What is this child? So, therefore, basic rule of human life is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Right? So everything is in the Shastra. So understanding we've made mistakes is a good start.
Thank you, Prabhu, for
Does that answer your question?
yeah, very nice answer.
I forget what your question is. Anyway. Yes, go ahead.
In Narada Bhakti Sutra, the nature of the Lord is told that ahankar dve sattva, Lord Krishna, ahankar dve sattva, and then a priyatva. He likes humility and
Yes. We all know that, right? If somebody is very gentle and humble, that person's company is very nice. But if somebody comes, oh, I'm the big man here, we think, oh my God, he's a headache, this guy. But if somebody is very considerate and gentle, just like a great musician, if he's proud, his music carries the pride, and it's not beautiful. But if a great musician is humble and sweet, that mood is in their music, and their music touches the heart. So there is subtle and gross. So the devotee, his transcendental mood is carried.
Wonderful class. Wonderful class as always.
By chance. The scientists say everything happened by chance.
So we have seen that this is one of the most important factors for the three modes of nature. So can we identify, what is the particular mode of nature at certain time of certain point of time?
Yeah, well, that was the previous chapter. Well, one before that, the three modes of material nature. If we study that, we memorize that, we contemplate that, then we'll understand. Like modes of nature. When you wake up, you're still suffering tamagun, right? But then you have to think, let me have a cold shower, right? Then you wake up. And then you chant Hare Krishna. You become transcendental. If you chant properly, you're doing bhajan. You become transcendentalized. Mode of goodness means happiness. Mode of passion means desire. Mode of ignorance is illusion. Like if somebody becomes angry, that is mode of ignorance. When we're in the mode of ignorance, we say things that we regret. Oh, we shout at the wife and we make her cry with, oh, what did I do, right? So you have to recognize the modes.
So
And then you have to, you see, that's the art of human life. To always try to cultivate goodness, and from that goodness platform, perform bhajan. Because in the mode of goodness, the mind is peaceful, shanti. So then you can remember Krishna, and you can cultivate some mood of yajna in your chanting. But sometimes we're in the mode of passion. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. But still we should chant, because the chanting will purify. Like we say, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Nastra Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata say Bhagati Uttama Sloka Bhakti. If you read Bhagavatam, that will take you out of the lower modes. So one thing I do, I have an alarm clock, and next to it I have that little recorder with the lectures of Prabhupada. So if I wake up, yes. So if the alarm wakes me up, usually I wake up before the alarm, but if the alarm wakes me up, I press the alarm clock off and I turn on, you know those little red golden, yeah, then I turn that on. So, and then I remember Prabhupada and his voice and some wonderful spiritual knowledge. So then very quickly. But so you have to be tactical. Like where you're sleeping. You can have a picture of Lord Chaitanya. So you wake up, you see Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is the key. This is Kali Yuga. He's Kali Yuga avatar. So you follow Lord Chaitanya. Within the kirtan party of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna is realized. Huh? He's the kirtan party for the Ras Leela. In Golok, it's like a lotus. Radha Krishna is there. The petals are the residence of the gopis, and then Mother Vatsalya Bhav, and around that Svetadweep is Lord Chaitanya's kirtan party, glorifying the Leela of Golok. So we should install that in the heart. That's in the Brahma Samhita. So we have to be active in that direction, or else the modes will come forward. And we wake up and we think, oh, I'm going back to sleep. Of course, if you need extra sleep, then do it. But you see, if you like, your question is good. But you have to know what will bring me out of lower modes, you see. Sadhu Sangha. Huh? Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, what? Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sava Shastra hoy. Lavamata Sadhu Sangha, Sava Siddhi hoy. So, bhakti should be performed asat sangi tyagi, in association. So we're in Vrindavan, right? Vrishabhanu there, he's a sadhu. And also it's in the Shastri. Sorry. Vibhishan. It also explains that you should chant in proximity of Tulsi. That is very powerful. If you go to Radhakund, you can take some water, put that on your head. First thing in the morning. So you have to be tactical.
So we can say that it is a...
How to do mode of goodness things.
It can also be called, as a human psychological mode of nature, isn't it?
Huh?
It can be called also human nature.
Well, think of the modes as,
psychological.
you see, everything comes from subtle to gross. You understand? The material scientists think that the gross energy, this is materialism in philosophical sense, that the material energy creates consciousness, which is the subtle element. That's wrong. Everything is coming from subtle to gross. So the modes have a subtle aspect, they act upon the pradhan, and then they create the gross elements, the subtle elements. It's in chapter 25 of 3rd canto. Lord Kapila's teaching to Devahuti. You can get it all there. But that's a big subject. But basically the modes, you can think of it like we've got this body, it's like a radio receiver. So you can tune the radio receiver to different frequencies. You can tune to mode of goodness, you can tune to mode of passion, you can tune to mode of ignorance. So there's a subtle aspect and there's a growth. This is the manifestation of the modes. Just like you hear passionate music and it makes you passionate. Right? When they want the soldiers to go to war. They don't play peaceful music. Okay, we'll finish at this point. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.